Oxidation
is the breakdown of a substance via oxygen. This takes place when something loses electrons via atom, molecule, or ion during a reaction. This is why free radicals are so important in this process, and we'll get to that in due time. Oxidation in the body is caused by an imbalance of free radicals pooling up in your organs. For now, I will discuss some methods of avoiding oxidation you have probably already heard many times before. Antioxidants are often found in superfoods and are known to reduce aging, but it's really just slowing the process. The reason why antioxidants are seen as anti-aging is because aging is just your body oxidizing itself until it deteriorates too much to continue functioning. Some examples of free radicals are created by our own bodies are mitochondria, inflammation, and exercise. Some of externally produced sources would be cigarette smoke, environmental pollutants, radiation, certain drugs, pesticides, industrial solvents, and the ozone. By the way, a free radical is defined as an uncharged molecule, which is often highly reactive due to their lack of certain electrons. This is why you lose electrons during oxidation. Diseases that are known to relate directly or indirectly be caused by oxidation are diabetes,
hardening of the blood vessels,
hypertension, which is high blood pressure. This is typically painful and felt around the head, heart disease, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's, and cancer. Foods that are known powerful antioxidants are berries, cherries, citrus fruits, prunes, dark leafy greens, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, olive, fish and nuts, vitamin E, which improves iron absorption and helps the immune system, etc., etc. Vitamin C, which is also used to reduce inflammation.
It's also in
green tea, melatonin, onion, garlic, and cinnamon. Vitamin B12 signs of deficiency are nerve damage, fatigue, tingling of hands and feet, numbness, weakness, blurred vision, fever, excessive sweating, walking difficulties, digestive problems, and sore tongue. My personal recommendation is not to talk to your doctor about the doses of vitamins, because just like Food Matters stated, doctors are just going to tell you it can hurt you rather than help. Sources of B12 include eggs, dairy, fortified cereal, like Special K and other expensive cereals with a bunch of fancy badges all over it, nori, seaweed, shit-take mushrooms, sounds about right. Cool stuff your body can do with B12 that you definitely want to happen are synthesizing copies of DNA, which I will talk about in more detail later, cause a boost of energy, protect your nervous system, and form and duplicate red blood cells. Now, what is radiation damage? What does it do to our cells? And how can we prevent it? Glad you asked. The way radiation hurts you is by damaging the DNA in your cells, deteriorating them rapidly and making them unable to reproduce properly or function in the first place. If you damage your DNA, your body isn't going to function properly. This functioning properly could just be slower healing or lack of healing, all the way up to your body no longer knowing how to synthesize the chemicals and compounds required for your body to run without complications or supplements. Side note, microwaves were thought to be dangerous when they first came out, but technology has improved, right? Well, the older your microwave is, the worse you have it. One day, I was microwaving some chicken nuggets and listened to a video on YouTube while I wait. As I walked closer to the microwave, my Bluetooth connection cut in and out like it was being interrupted by a more powerful wave, aka whatever is coming out of my microwave is powerful enough to jam Bluetooth. So what should you do? Just test your microwave. Do the first test, the one I did by mistake. Did you hear static or serious interruption? If it's very intense, I suggest you avoid using that death trap and keep your face away from it. Secondly, with the microwave unplugged, if you're accident prone or don't trust yourself, place your phone inside the microwave, close the door, and distance yourself greatly from it. Then try to call the phone. The speed it connects compares to when it's outside of the microwave is how much shielding your microwave is stopping. If you can't get any service, then you're golden. Your microwave leaks are minimum and still due to the dangers of small radiation exposure over a long period of time. You still shouldn't be all up against your microwave like it's super safe. EMF. Phones or anything that connect to Wi-Fi for that matter emits EMF. Frequently inside a microwave oven, it's 2.45 billion hertz. Environmental Protection Agency recommends that you limit your exposure to 5 mg mg to 2.5 mg. When you are 3 feet away from a microwave, you are exposed up to 25 mg, even if the seal is intact. Certain kinds of waves escape. I'm not going to pretend that EMF has anything to do with your nutrition, but it's important to understand that every time you use your microwave, you're exposing yourself to some dangerous stuff, which is relative to your health. Does it really matter how healthy you eat if your DNA is damaged beyond repair? Also keep in mind the other things on this chart. I'm not going to try and pretend that you should turn your Wi-Fi off because it's killing you, but it's definitely not making you healthier. Long-term effects are very similar to common conditions today. Mental health problems such as depression are much more common in this day of age than it was prior. That's why I personally think that as we progressively begin to accept and embrace technology, we have created our own man-made hazards that not only do we want to use, but basically have to. Fun fact, if you hold a Geiger counter up to any outlet or switch, it will go off as a hotspot. I don't know about you, but I'm having second thoughts about sleeping next to my phone, charger, Bluetooth, alarm clock, extension cord, and etc.
Nucleic acid.
Then our DNA gets excited or ionized when exposed to radiation, which in turn causes the molecule structure to lose, you guessed it, its structure. Obviously, we don't want this. So if for whatever reason you're doing to subject yourself to radiation, I recommend you take plenty of vitamin B12 and try to layer yourself as much as possible because damage done by radiation is nearly irreversible. Alright, a 0.8 through 1.8 mg per kg of body weight is considered a toxic level of B12. 76 through 171 mg range would be considered toxic levels. Don't overdo it. 1 to 2 mg is a general medical dose, but I would say 1 to 10 mg could be a good dose. However, I do not condone taking more of this vitamin than recommended due to its potency. Use your head. Vitamin B1, signs of deficiency includes burning feet, weakness, rapid heart rate, swelling, anorexia, nausea, fatigue, and gas problems. Vitamin B2, signs of deficiency include cracking, sores of the mouth, dermatitis, pink eye, extreme sensitivity to light, tongue inflammation, anxiety, loss of appetite, and fatigue. Also, you know when you take some multivitamins and you pee neon yellow, that's actually riboflavin in your urine, and it's totally safe. Vitamin B3, symptoms of deficiency include dermatitis, dementia, and swelling, painful sores in the mouth. Has no known toxicity point. Vitamin B5, don't worry about deficiency, it'll never happen. However, these are the high dose side effects are nausea, heartburn, and diarrhea. Vitamin B6, signs of deficiency include all signs of B12 deficiencies, nervous system disorders, sleeplessness, confusion, nervousness, depression, and irritability, and anemia. Important side notes, deprivation of B6 in the prenatal state will result in mental retardation and blood disorders in newborns. Toxicity,
Not completely understood.
painful neurological
Symptoms.
Vitamin B9, this is an artificially manufactured form of
Folic acid.
for the use of supplements. Folate is naturally occurring in food and is not needed as a supplement unless these signs occur, which is fire diarrhea, fatty diarrhea, anemia, leukemia, low
Platelet count.
weight loss, weakness, cracking and redness of the tongue, low weight in newborns, and neural tube defects in newborns, the part that connects your spine to your brain. Toxicity with this vitamin is tricky because it causes megablastic anemia, which is also caused by B12 deficiency. So B12 deficiency could be mistaken for a folic deficiency and vice versa. Vitamin H. Oh, I didn't know that existed. Deficiency rare in humans. You can basically only do this if you eat only raw egg whites because they contain a protein called avidin, which binds to biotin and stop it from being processed. Not known to have a toxicity point. Vitamin A. Deficiency signs are just difficulty seeing dim lights and rough, dry skin. Toxicity includes nausea, headache, fatigue, loss in appetite, dizziness, and dry skin. Vitamin E basically has no deficiency signs until extreme malnourishment. Toxicity is typically
Difficulty clotting.
blood. Infants are more likely to experience this. Vitamin K. Deficiency signs are a tendency to bleed and anemia. Calcium. The long-term deficiencies include lower bone mineral density.
Hey, the bell's about to show up in this recording, but it's not the bell. Don't get your hopes up.
Rickets, which is softening and weakness of bones. This also happens with vitamin D. And
Osteoporosis.
brittle and weak bones. Phosphorus. Deficiency is extremely rare and the signs are not listed, so I assume they're unknown. The toxicity may cause calcification and soft tissue. Potassium deficiency doesn't happen through a poor diet. It's caused by our body wasting protein. An example of this would be a
Diuretic, such as coffee.
causing you to lose potassium. To reach toxicity, your liver needs to be overwhelmed with potassium. This means you have to have more potassium in you than you can pee out at one time, leaving excess in the liver. You need 18 grams of this stuff to cause this. Not milligrams, grams. Signs of toxicity: nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Salt deficiency happens when you drink way too much water. Honestly, that was probably already going to kill you anyways, so don't worry about having too little salt. Signs of toxicity include nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Iron deficiency is anemia, also small and pale red blood cells, behavior abnormalities in children. Signs of toxicity include cardiovascular disease, cancer, and neurodegenerative disease. Whatever. Zinc deficiency signs include decreased immunity, increased
Susceptibility.
of infection, growth retardation, skeletal
I wish it was called Skeletor disease. But no, it's skeletal abnormalities, sorry.
abnormities, delay in sexual maturity, slow improper healing, change in taste, night blindness, and hair loss. Alcoholics, vegans, and people with a malabsorption have an increased risk of deficiency. Toxicity includes nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. Vitamin C helps with formation of collagen, absorption of iron, the immune system, wound healing, and the maintenance of cartilage, bone, teeth. Official medical documentations say that vitamin C has no real benefits. Psych. But as we saw in Food Matters, a lot of nutrition-based treatments are shunned. With vitamin C, that doses in between 1,000 and 2,000 mg, but I personally think it doesn't matter nearly as much as mega doses can result in the following: diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, abnormal cramps, headache, and insomnia. I think if it's not a drug, then the medical industry doesn't care. Why heal your patient when you can make them pay for these meds for the rest of their lives? Then rack up additional fees when the meds fail and they need to go to the hospital. One thing I think you should avoid, bar none, is fluoride. At Harvard University states that fluoride heavily affects the memory of rats, and it gets much worse. All but one study has suggested that fluoride content water negatively affects development in children. An extreme example of this would be like if I promoted that putting micro doses of mercury would help citizens with dental health, and it worked. But it also caused stunting of important brain development, as well as being just dangerous in general to consume. If you put one small speck of lead on your tongue once a month, eventually you'll get lead poisoning. What people don't consider is the effect prior to true poisoning are still extremely negative. On that note, also avoid heavy metals if you don't already. Fittings on hoses are made of alloys that are extremely likely to contain lead. I know a lot of you have drank out of a hose and survived, but it's possible that any of us, and all of us who have done it, that have actually set our lives at a disadvantage, especially during early development, which means our true potential may have never been reached. Fluoride. Fluoride is a form of an extremely reactive halogen called fluorine. There are trace elements in fluoride in certain bodies of water. water, but are not part of the human diet in any shape, way, or form. Fluoride is typically man-made in plants and is corrosive, so basically we put a drop of dangerous acid in our water and toothpaste and call it okay because it gets diluted. Any sane person would understand with little to no benefits to the teeth. Why would be risk the health of the U.S. citizens with this little experiment? Alternative medicines are usually outed for being under-effective or have little research backing them up. But that's literally what fluoride is, except fluoride itself is acidic and will attack the skin. Supposedly, it can help with bone strength, but why are the side effects of higher dosage discolored teeth in children, weakened bone ligaments, muscle weakness, and nervous system problems? The fluoride that goes into fluorinated water is gathered in scrubbers, which are inside those tall smokestacks. Smokestacks, which are connected to a fertilizer plant, which spits out toxic waste. All those pollutants going into the air that everyone complains about is literally being harvested. Poorly, I might add, a lot escapes and gets put into the water we drink to fix our teeth. You know what else fixes your teeth? Brushing them, jackasses. I should also mention that the thing it's made out of is so dangerously reactive, most chemists and scientists won't even touch it, store it, or use it. So I suggest you get a non-fluoridated toothpaste, an extremely high-quality water filter. If it comes out quickly, then chances are it sucks, and it's just a
Placebo.
like your old Brita filter you never change. Well, even when you first got it, it probably didn't do a whole lot, unless if you got the kind that will turn fruit punch clear again. I use Proper Traveler 304 with a Pro 1 G2.0 filter at my house and a shower head filter. Wow, fancy.
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
A lot of this stuff was expensive, but I didn't have to pay for it, and I'm definitely glad I was lucky enough to have it. The Pro 1 G2.0 filter would stay good for 5,000 gallons of use, assuming you clean it with cold water and a clean sponge.
And we're not getting what humans always thought was key, the bone broth. 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 Well, now it's the next level of that. It's caveman. But hey, I need a glass of caveman. Caveman. Man, it's better than Ovaltine. Better than Ovaltine. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Caveman is just over the top. What in the world? But now with the milk, I was like, whoa, this has milk in it. Whoa. It tastes like good. Man, this tastes so good. Tastes like the best milkshake ever.
It's a meme. Ovaltine in the past was widely considered to be important for growing children in late whatever, way before my time, I think. Google it if you care, or ask your family about it, because they probably know. Ovaltine contains bone broth and is a good way to start a paleo diet, which is more commonly known as the caveman protein powder. Unfortunately, whether you like him or hate him, Alex Jones has turned many people away from this great diet, simply by being Alex Jones. Most people see him as crazy, and 90% of the time, I agree with you, unless you talk about a couple of his supplements and diets. The fact that he's plugging them makes people want to shun these wondrous products, but really, they're still good diets. If Hitler advertised Windows operating system, I would still buy it. I don't care what stigma it has connected to it. If it's a quality product and I know it works for me, then why shouldn't I buy it? Anyways, bone broth is fat-free. It contains B6 vitamins, promotes bone health, and it also helps with iron in your blood. Without the right amount of iron in your blood, you can develop what is called anemia. Anemic people look like they just went through chemotherapy, so I recommend you avoid that at all costs. It doesn't look very fun, to be honest. Some people also think that it can help with healing cancer, and many act similar to fiber in your GI tract. So if you have IBS or want an
Immune system boost.
eat some bone marrow. It's a delicacy in some parts of the world, but I know, really, that doesn't mean anything. On to thyroid crystallization. There are crystal structures tightly compact in your bones. This is totally fine, and it's just the magic of genetics and DNA doing amazing things, but crystals such as calcium oxalate are found nowhere in the human tissue other than the thyroid. Naturally, they shouldn't occur and are known to increase within the age, but the location where these crystals grow are on the inactive areas of the thyroid. This means the cause of thyroid crystallization is an underactive thyroid, which is fixed
with iodine.
70 through 80% of thyroid
Autopsy.
calcium oxalate crystals with increasing density based on your age. Your thyroid can also calcified, which can be a sign of cancer, but typically isn't cancerous. Now, why would you not want crystals in your thyroid? Well, what does your thyroid do? Your thyroid makes hormones that control multiple important bodily functions, like controlling weight and body temperature. If you're often extremely cold or just known to being cold in a temperature would most say is perfect, you may have an underactive thyroid. You could also just be very small and struggle to produce as much heat as other people. But if you're a larger fellow and you're constantly cold, I suggest you try and find out what's up. It may even help you lose some weight. I should also mention that if you lack iodine, it can cause little nodules or lumps on your neck. Sometimes they aren't more than an eyesore, but occasionally they can press up against your windpipe. And also, I just don't recommend ignoring random lumps on your body, but you do you, man.
Enema.
For detoxification of the colon. Yes, shoving a surgical hose up your rear and cleaning it out with a blast of pressurized water would definitely be beneficial to your health. But you can also take oxygen-infused tablets and capsules designed to break down compact stool without the rumored displeasure most would feel during an
Enema.
I don't know about you, but I'm not letting any tubes get near my cheeks. But if you want to, go ahead, man. Just don't tell me how it went, because I don't want to know. Okay, vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 is very similar to other kinds of vitamin Ds, but D3 comes from the sun. It can help with bone strength, improve your mood, and like pretty much everything else I recommended, it's suggested aids in preventing cancer. D3 is also particularly good at helping those with diabetes maintain insulin levels. Radiation and different kinds of iodine. Nascent iodine is, in my opinion, the best option for using iodine as a supplement. Nascent iodine is both nascent and monoatomic. This means that it just came into existence and displays signs of future potential and is made up of one kind of atom. To be taken into a liquid form, it is diluted with triple or quadruple distilled water, meaning it is pure iodine suspended in what we believe in one of the, if not the purest form of H2O available. Potassium iodine is used to protect the body from radioactive iodine. Essentially, the iodine that is already inside of you can become
radiated,
which will then be processed through your thyroid like normal and cause major damage,
which will obviously affect your
hormones as well as the thyroid itself. Potassium iodine will stop your body from processing the radioactive iodine. Selenia is a trace element what's found in most foods, but I think that most people don't even know what it is. Well, just like I did with B12, I'm gonna scare you into understanding you need to make sure you have enough. The symptoms of selenium deficiency are
male infertility,
Cashing Beck,
cognitive decline,
thyroid disease. Benefits include reduced cancer risk, antioxidant properties, easy to find, like Brazilian nuts, 1 ounce, 3 to 8 nuts, 544 mcg per serving, tuna and yellowfin, 3 ounces, 95 mcg per serving, and lastly, helps your body process nutrients, like
boosts metabolism,
thyroid function, your gut flora. When you take antibiotics, which I think are a great thing, and medicine has come a very long way, but actually ends up setting you worse off. Once the illness you are trying to kill off is gone, antibiotics get up in your gut and destroy whatever germs and illness is causing stuff. But it kills your good bacteria as well. Without the right right kind of bacteria, your body won't complete or correctly process its food. To restore this, simply take a probiotic and follow the instructions on the bottle. Probiotics essentially are good bacteria and yeast that you want to remain within you. After antibiotics, it's important to restore what you've destroyed. Heavy metal detox, including lead, cadmium, mercury, arsenic, are all heavy metals with a potential to cause serious harm. You want 0 heavy metals in you at all times. A
List
of things that heavy metal can damage include central nervous system, cardiovascular system, gastrointestinal system, lungs, kidney, liver, the endocrine glands, and bones. Things that can expose you to lead include lead-containing plumbing, lead-based paints, which were found in buildings built before 1978 and is the predominant source for children. Foods grown in lead-rich soil and fitting on water hoses. Things that can expose you to mercury include dental fillings, shellfish, contaminated workplaces like the dentist supply cabinet or shop, broken thermometers, certain types of jewelry, mining for gold, skincare products. Those made in the United States don't usually contain mercury, damn China, and exposure to toxic air in industrialized communities. Symptoms of lead poisoning. First off, you need to understand that if you have any of these symptoms, you should save up a heavy metal test to see what comes up. Its developmental problems are also very sad because people could be at a disadvantage at a very young age because they couldn't develop properly due to their parents' ignorance, and lead poisoning's non-lethal, often overlooked effects, which include abdomen pain, joint pain, constipation, nausea, vomiting, learning disability, slow growth, fatigue, loss in appetite, headache, insomnia, memory loss, uncharacteristically easy to be distracted, forgetting what they were going to say mid-sentence, baby colic. Constipation in babies usually results in screaming and crying at the lightest of bowel movements. It's very annoying and unfortunate at the same time. Oh my God, stay away from lead. Symptoms of mercury poisoning include anxiety, depression, irritability, memory problems, numbness, shyness, tremors, hearing and speech difficulties, lack of coordination, muscle weaknesses, nerve loss in hand and face, trouble walking, and vision change. Oh my God, stay away from mercury. Okay, magnesium can help repair your blood-brain barrier, overcome addictions, aid with withdrawal, increase the brain's growth hormones production. CBD? I've tried CBD on several occasions, and I can indeed confirm that it is not psychoactive in the slightest. However, it can help with anxiety, pain, seizures, combat cancer, reduce risk of diabetes, and falling asleep
and staying asleep.
Blue light. Blue light itself is good for us and is actually needed for us to function normally. Your body's internal clock or circadian rhythm. Benefits of blue light includes boosted alertness, easier memorization, increased cognitive function, boosted mood, regulates internal clocks, and let you know what time of day it is. Negative effects include eye strain via bright light, eye strain via depth imitation, and retina damage. What do you do about it? Well, your phone probably has a blue light filter option, so I suggest you turn that on a few hours before you go to bed, or at least as it begins to get dark. The reason why your phone keeps you up is because your body thinks it's still daytime for some reason. It's too deeply ingrained into our bodies to do anything about it but work around it. Yellow tinted glasses or Gunnar glasses, which are getting close to going out of business, can I get an F in chat, will provide contrast and reduce the amount of blue light that gets through. If you're going to get cataracts removed, you have a lens that basically does the same thing but in your eye, so there's no way you're getting damaged by the blue light. Anti-reflective lenses. Glasses glare definitely messes with your eyes. You can see a bit of glare off your eyelashes, and this too will bother your
Circadian rhythm.
just reduce your overall screen time. Seriously.